welcome to 40 Days of Engaging Heaven. I am Dennis Minor, Life Coach Dennis. Today is the 17th day of our time of prayer and fasting, and I hope you've been enjoying it. And if you're joining us for the first time and you're wondering what is this whole hula baloo about prayer and fasting, our Catholic Church have been having a time of 40 days of prayer and fasting, just to cleanse ourselves, to purify ourselves, so that we can come closer to God, to offer prayers and supplications and intercessions for them that require, that the Lord may just cleanse His church, may purify His people, and may be able to turn us around to come nearer to Him. And so I welcome you to today's reflection. This next few days, I am going to be dealing with three some things that we are able to attain through the days of prayer and fasting. So number one, I want us to just remember that the 40 days of prayer and fasting are usually engaged in the Bible, where the whole idea of 40 days of prayer and fasting really came from the Bible, from the first mention that was there, that the Lord was able to rain down on Noah and his people during those days. And for 40 days and 40 nights it rained until everyone was wiped away, everything was wiped away, and only Noah and everything that was included in the ark was able to survive. The next time anything about 40 is mentioned again is during Moses' time, and Moses was able to also fast for 40 days. Elijah was able to fast for 40 days. Jesus was also able to fast for 40 days. And so 40 being a number that is scriptural also has an indication of purification, an indication of a time of just being prepared for something. And so the three some things that I want us to see, and most of they are borrowed from the life story of Moses. So Moses, when he was in the wilderness for 40 days, as he was running away from Pharaoh after he had killed an Egyptian who was trying to assault an Israelite, and he had taken matters into his own hands. So he goes into the 40 days journey into the wilderness until he is able to find somewhere to stay. And so the first three were things to do with, number one, process, pruning, and preparation. And so the three P's that we are going to handle today is process, pruning, and preparation. Process, pruning, and preparation. And so God is inviting us to go through this process. And I don't know, I have been thinking, I've been meditating upon these days of prayer and fasting. I'm thinking the biggest group that fasts, the biggest group that is able to go through a fasting period are usually the Muslims. Christians, though we may be the majority, I don't think we really go through a single-handed period of prayer and fasting. And I think the next group is the Catholics. But it is more to do with an abstinence than really a period of complete prayer and fasting. And I just wonder if this would happen. I think there would be a very big revival that would blow up in the church and in the whole universe, that would turn around things. Because a time of prayer and fasting is a process. It is like food. When food is raw, before it gets to the table for eating, it goes through a process. It's the processing prepares the food to be eaten. But the process can be good, it can destroy. Nowadays people are trying to eat healthy and live healthily, and they're saying some of the processes the food is going through is demeaning the food. But when the right process, when food goes through the right process, it will always be meaningful to the body. And so our spiritual lives, when they go through the meaningful process, the right processing, they come out better. We become better people. And so this time of prayer and fasting is also a time to be processed. And we are not just being processed by our own time of prayer and fasting, but our time of prayer and fasting is like we are surrendering. We are coming to the table of processing. And therefore we are in the hands of the Lord. And therefore He is able to process us, just like the potter is able to mold. So we are being processed. We are being prepared. We are, and the preparation that is the Lord is doing to us is for the next agenda. Understand this, that every time everyone went through those 40 days events in the Bible, they came out better. And so there is a process of pruning that also goes through. Moses had taken matters into his hands. And so he went into the desert for those 40 days as he went through no food. The first time Moses went through this, it was not really an issue of that he had food. He had no food. It was like situational. But the next time as he goes up the mountain to receive the commandments of the Lord, that was an intentional one. He leaves food. And so he goes through a process of pruning whereby the Lord is clipping away the parts of his life that do not amalgamate or align themselves to the issues of God. And so we will know, I know of people, and some have been even telling me during this period, that I'm literally going through Lent, that I am really going through a period of pain and suffering at this moment. And this should not be taken wrongly. I know of many other times, every time we go through the period of 10, the Lord will allow his saints to go through this process, some literally and some intentionally, where some circumstantially and some will go through it intentionally. Sometimes I would rather be led of God to do something than when situations I have forced God to allow a situation that I may go through. That one is even more painful because somehow my will is not involved. But when I am able to allow God's will to precipitate my own will, things work out better. And you see, God calls us to a place of obedience, which is better place than even a place of sacrifice. And when we operate in obedience, the preparation process becomes very easy. The pruning process becomes very easy. Of course, there will be pain when we are being clipped off the negative things. Imagine Moses going through that desert, and the Lord wanted to remove in him the aspect of bringing salvation to his people by Moses' hand. It was supposed to be through the hands of God and through the will and might of God and not the will and might of people. And sometimes when our will interferes with God's will, that is when the painful process we go through. That's when the Lord allows particular situations to go through. And maybe today you're going through a process that you're not willing to go through, but it is circumstantial and forced upon you, and maybe you are unwilling to go through the process. I want to encourage you during this time of prayer, come back to him and tell him, Lord, I'm bowing down to your will. I'm allowing you to process me. I'm allowing you to prune me. I'm allowing you to prepare me. And the preparation is going to come out for greatness. Great things are going to come out at the end of the day. After pruning, more fruits are borne by the tree. Any tree that goes through pruning, there is more fruit. And so maybe our fruits have lessened, and the Lord wants us to yield more fruit. So he's going to take us through a process, a preparation that we may be able to go. So remember, may the Lord during this time give you the three things. May he process you, may he prune you, may he prepare you. As much as it may be painful, it will come out for good. So keep your focus at the end. Keep your focus at what is coming through. And may the Lord bless you, keep you, and his Holy Spirit encourage you, and his mercies that are new every morning be upon you. And in Jesus' name, God bless you.